Dale.
Hi people, my name is Alex Calderon and my partners, Andrea Balin, Carlos Suarez, and John Rodriguez. We speak about experimental approach to the study of voluntary contribution to public good financing. Next, please. Well, the reference of article is based of author Aneta Kaplanova and Sira Kovabov. The year of publication is June 15 of 2022, and the article is experimental approach to the study of voluntary contribution to public good financing. That is in the magazine Montenegrin Journal of Economics in Podgorica. This article contains 18 pages. Next, please. Well, about the question, what are the factors that affect the voluntary contribution of individuals to the financing of public goods? Next, please. The goal of this article is to demonstrate, based in the experiment, using the public good behavioral game aimed to identify factors affecting voluntary contribution of individuals to financing of public goods. Next, please. My partner.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the type of experiment. The experiment was done using a behavioral game design that mixed elements from a standard public goods game. It happened in an online platform called www.onlineexperiment.sk. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the experiment description. The game consisted of 6 rounds, each with detailed instructions provided to the participants. Data collection took place in 2 separate rounds, involving different participant groups. The initial group was recruited through the author's department Facebook page, with participants not receiving financial rewards for their involvement. Instead, rewards were exclusively given to the winning group, comprising 5 players with the highest cumulative benefits throughout the experiment. Participants were compensated based on a compensation of 1 experimental money unit according to 30 euros. Okay, in the second experiment, university students served as subjects, and they were not offered real monetary rewards. Instead, participants earned additional points for their course assessments. All students received 2 extra points for participation, while members of the winning group were granted 3 additional points. The study aimed to investigate individual behavior in contributing private resources to public goods through the design of a behavioral public good game. The experiment, conducted with 2 separate anonymous groups, focused on understanding the behavioral factors influencing participants' decisions regarding the allocation of their private resources to finance public goods. To ensure a difference, a questionnaire was given before the game began. The behavioral game had 3 main parts. The first one is the general instructions for the participants. There is also a quiz to allocate experimental money. The second part is a behavioral game. Similar to the standard public goods game, participants made investment decisions. And the last part were the behavioral and demographic questionnaire.
Now, respect with the data analysis. We recorded participants' basic details like gender, age, education, and how much they earn in a knowledge quiz. And then we use these details to see how different treatments and socioeconomic factors affected people's decisions to contribute to public goods. Regarding the methodology for analysis, it was quantitative. That was used because the information was presented numerically and gave us instruction on how to classify the possible causes of the problems as well as be able to quantify their impact. The data collected in the experiment were first analyzed using discrete statistics, and then correlation analysis was performed using the Spearman correlation coefficient. Next slide. Subsequently, we used the model of multiple linear regression to analyze the impact of the gain modifications and the impact of the identification with the statements in behavioral questionnaire on investment to the group account. Here you can see the table of the exchange ratio between the correct answers in the quiz and the corresponding amount in the experimental money allocated for the participants. The paper didn't have an aspect to say the limitation of the experiment, so we can make a big list, but we could see that, for example, the participants in the experiments applied to the experiments via an online form, so we think that there could be a bias in the experiment because of that. Next slide.
Okay. The results relevant to the research question. Key findings and the first income level effect. The provision point influence contribution differently based income levels. Low and middle low income participants increases in contribution in the first treatment, while middle high and the income participants reduce their allocation. In the second treatment, low and middle low income participants showed a higher willingness to contribute, while private account contribution decreases significantly across the experiment. Second, emotional factor influence. Participants experience a positive feeling when contributing to public goods significantly increases contribution to both growth accounts. However, a stronger sense of moral obligation was associated with a lower likelihood of contributing to growth accounts. The third overall implications, the outcome showed that income level, emotional factor, and the sense of moral obligation are crucial factors influencing individuals' decision to contribute to group accounts. Next, please. Difference or aspects that have caught your attention the most. In comparing variable economic with traditional economic model regarding the chosen topic, a key distinction emerges in their focus on individual behavior and decision making. Traditional models often assume individuals are rational and driven solely by self-interest, whereas variable economics recognize the influence of cognitive biases, social norms, and emotion on decision making. In the realm of financing and providing public goods, traditional models might assume that individuals won't voluntarily contribute due to free rider problem, also behavioral economic contents that people are often willing to contribute, voluntary, motivated by social preference, reciprocity, and desire for social approval. The use of experiment methods is another notable aspect in a behavioral economic decision study employed a behavioral experiment to gather data on individuals. Behavior related to contributing to public good. This approach allows researchers to observe real-world behavior and test hypotheses in the control setting, offering valuable insights into the factors shaping decisions. Behavioral economics considers a broader range of factors influencing decision-making compared to traditional models in the study. Income, family opinion, warm glove effect, and belief in the corporation were identified as significant determinants of contribution to public good. This factor extends beyond financial motivation, expanding the role of social and psychological factors. Next, please. In summary, the contrast between behavioral economic and traditional models underscores the importance of comprehending individual behavior, utilizing experimental methods, and considering a diverse array of factors behind rational self-interest. Behavioral economy provides a more nuanced and realistic understanding of individual decision-making in the context of public goods provision.